Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Well, good morning. So let's carry it further from our earlier discussion. In our earlier discussions, we covered different concepts of intelligence, emotions, and wisdom, and how these concepts are interrelated, and what could be the possible outcomes of their associations for the benefit of mankind. Today, we will be exclusively examining the concept of intelligence, its nature, meaning, type, theories, models, and how possibly in a systematic manner we can examine the concept, and we can measure, we can look into how different tools can be applied to measure intelligence, and we can profile somebody's intellectual profile. If we measure intelligence, then what would be our benefit? What could be the possible applications? So, today we will be trying to examine all these interrelated concepts. To begin with, let us see the definition of intelligence has been a topic of discussion in terms of its wide applications. Many psychologists have defined this concept in their own ways. However, we have selected a few of them that are widely accepted across the globe. One such definition is intelligence is the aggregate or the global capacity of an individual to act purposefully, think rationally, and deal effectively with his environment. This definition was given by David Wessler, and this definition seems to be one of the most comprehensive definitions in the field of intelligence. However, due to lack of its practical feasibility in terms of the measurement aspects, theoreticians and applied psychologists, they struggle a lot to come up with an instrument that could most probably measure the global capacity. So, that is the only one difficulty. However, Wessler has tried to come up with one of the best measure widely popular in many fields, that is known as Wessler's adult intelligence scale. However, looking at its difficulty in terms of measurement, intelligence further looked into in terms of measuring its different domains. E.G. Boring, another famous psychologist, who come up with another definition that what intelligence test measure is labeled as one's intelligence. Going further, one more very elaborative definition come up with the research work of Sternberg and his colleagues in the year 1982. Sternberg and his colleagues, they describe intelligence in terms of one's capacity for goal directed activity and also adaptive behavior that involves the ability to profit from experiences, solve problems, reason out, successfully meet the challenges, and achieve goals in our life. However, in the year 1996, Nazer and his colleagues, they define intelligence in terms of individual's ability to understand complex situations, to adapt effectively to the environment, to profit from their experience and learn effectively, to engage in various forms of reasoning, and to overcome obstacles by utilizing careful thoughts. When we look into all these concepts, what exactly, how we are viewing out of all these definitions, how do we view intelligence? Is it an ability? Is it an aptitude? Is it a personality? Characteristics? Is it something related to one's creativity and wisdom? So, these are some of the possible questions that often comes to our mind when we discuss human intelligence, which is very complex in its nature. In addition to this, that some people also say that is intelligence a skills or competency? Is intelligence is a skill or competency? So, professionals have used these concepts on the basis of their conceptualization, their ideas regarding the concepts and the context they have applied. They have tried to use it in different ways, but mainstream of the concepts resides or surrounds across the construct that is called intelligence is nothing but one's ability. Well, if this is called one's ability, that EGT, a single entity, what we call the general intelligence, or is it product of many, or there are various kinds of intelligence, like say for cognitive intelligence refers to one's reasoning, that we call logical intelligence. Some people call musical intelligence, some people call linguistic intelligence, and some people also call mathematical intelligence. So, most of the cognitive intelligence related to logico-mathematical abilities, because it involves numbers, calculations, etc., etc. So, let us see when you talk about there can be various kinds of intelligence: cognitive, social, emotional, practical. In terms of this intelligence, we can view some of the theories that they come up with. One of the principles that is known as psychometrics, that says that whether it is a single entity or a global entity, or it is consists of different factors. How do we know intelligence even exists? So, the psychometricians, psychologists having expertise in metrics principles, specialize in measuring psychological characteristics for intelligence and personality. By using patterns of test scores, they have found evidence for general intelligence as well as specific abilities. So, this has been the root cause of, or the roots of knowing about, yes, there is something intelligence exists in the field of psychology. However, still there are several question persists when you say that are you intelligent. I often used to ask in my class to my students, how many of you think that you are intelligent? Even if you are selecting the best mind of this country, India. So, IITs are known as the elite institutes in our country, and we say that we are teaching the creams of India in terms of mental capacity. But still then when I ask these questions, how many of you think that you are intelligent? And I could see the reactions on their face all around in the class. Everybody gets stuck at thinking, as if they are not sure of why this teacher, why our professor is asking us knowingly that we are the best mind, but yes, it has reasons. Can it be possible also that without knowing ourselves whether we are intelligent or not, but we are engaged in intellectual activities? So, that is why I want to bring out the difference between intelligence and intelligent behavior. There are many people who are illiterate, but very often they display intelligent behavior. Like say for example, driving a Mercedes car, that which is technically very complex to operate, is found to be many times easier than a person who lives in metro, well educated, skillful. But if you ask the same person, go to downtown suburban area into a village and climb up to the top of the bamboo tree, most probably you will find the person is very hesitant to do that, because he lacks skills to climb up the bamboo tree. Would you call the person, the illiterate person in the village who does it within few fraction of a minute, or you can say seconds, does the job very effectively, is inferior in terms of intelligence than a person who drives Mercedes in the metro town? That is where I used to bring out the distinction between intelligence and intelligent behavior. So, that is why I used to ask my students, are you really intelligent? How do you know that you are intelligent? Now, my next question is, are you first question is, are you intelligent? Say for example, if I get my answer in terms of yes or no, most of the students they say it depends. This creates a $1 million question in my mind, why people say it depends. Because is it that the situation plays a very important role to determine one's intelligence? That is the subject matter of discussion. Or is it lack of confidence? But most of the cases I found it is lack of knowledge about the concept of intelligence. What is that lack of knowledge? Because most of them have never undergone any kind of intelligence testing, starting from their school days to the current stage. So, that is what. But I usually say the answer should be very simple. If you are intelligent, you simply say yes, I am intelligent. If you are not intelligent, yeah, no, I am not intelligent. Is there in between? Yes, some answers are there. Some people are undecided. They neither they are lack of confidence and they do not know the level of their intellectual profile. So, that is why they say, sir, it depends, sometimes I am intelligent, sometimes I am not. This is also possible, it depends. I can, because I can solve a complex mathematical problems, where I find myself a very intelligent person. But if somebody asks you, can you deliver a leadership lecture? The person thinks 4 times, 5 times, 6 times. I am not confident in delivering public speech, but I am confident of developing a design of, what do you say, pilotless drone. I can create a robot. So, that is why it is essential to know first, are you intelligent? It is very simple. Everybody is, to my understanding, I think everybody is intelligent irrespective of education, right. So, the only difference is how much exposure you have to that domains. When you say, do you display intelligent behavior? Do you display intelligent behavior? Now, again the answer to this question depends on the answer to the first question, because your understanding about the intelligence should be clear. So, when I ask, are you intelligent? Somebody saying yes, I am intelligent. Then how do you know? My question, next question is 1A. How do you know that you are intelligent? Here the answer will be given by this. Do you display intelligent behavior? What are those intelligent behavior? Reasoning, logic, facts, figures, analysis. So, these are some of the basis of what we call intelligent behavior. It is as similar as defining science. When I ask how do you define science, people say only those are scientists who conduct chemical experiments. This is the notion that people hold to their minds. Anybody who creates physical experiments, chemical experiments, biological experiments are known to be scientists. No, that is not the actual definition of science. The actual definition of science, any study that is systematic is science. It requires planning, organizing, executing, analyzing and drawing conclusions. So, these are certain steps that involves to complete the whole sequence of the process of science. Similarly, in case of analysis, anybody who is displaying or who is engaged in intellectual activities such as analysis, reasoning, putting logic into particular framework, proving something on the basis of facts and figures is known as intelligent behavior. So, then we go further. Can you display intelligent behavior without being intelligent? We often see in vegetable shops, we often see in grocery shops, you will find most of the grocery shopkeepers are illiterate. But when it comes to their counting their notes, you will find errorless counting. They are very good at number games. They can easily calculate that yes, they have brought vegetable per kilo this and he has bought 1 quintal of brinjal from the market. At what rate he should fix for selling, so that he can or she can have 100 rupees or 500 rupees profits. It takes no time to fix the rates, and that is how they display intelligent behavior, and similarly also in case of educated peoples. So, these are some of the ways that we look into the concept of intelligence when we are engaged in dialoguing and deliberating the concept of intelligence. Intelligence therefore, is an inferred process that humans use to explain the different degrees of adaptive success in people's behavior, how quickly one can adapt to different situations. And this consists of the mental abilities that enable one to adapt to, shape or select one's environment. The ability to judge, comprehend and reason. It also involves one's ability to understand and deal with people, object and symbols. It also refers to the ability of a person to act purposefully, think rationally and deal effectively with the environment. So, this all displays all the examination of the concept and the definition that we have discussed so far. This is the summary of the analysis about the concept of intelligence. However, when we look into particularly different approach, a particular approach for understanding intelligence, say for examples like Spearman's psychometric approach, here we see that based on the psychometric approach, the measurement or the metrics that we apply for analyzing individual behavior, we find the differences in human behavior and abilities. Say for examples, Spearman reported findings supporting the idea that performance on any test of mental ability was based on a single general ability factor, that is termed as G. Spearman believed that performance on any test of mental ability required the use of a specific factor, that is termed as S. So, that is how from Spearman moved from the concept of G to S. Some people say that if G is the machine of human intelligence, these are the different kind of wheels that are run by the engine. So, these are called S1, S2, S3 and S4. So, moving forward from the theory of Spearman, this is how the model of Spearman G factor and S factor represents different abilities of human intelligence. Conflicting theories have led many psychometric theorists to propose hierarchical theories of intelligence that include both general and specific components. However, we have discussed in our earlier classes that Cattell has given a theory that consists of two important domains. One is called fluid and crystallized intelligence. Fluid intelligences are ability to perceive relationships, the ability to gain new types of knowledge. This kind of intelligence often develops with the experiences, exposures and with time. But the crystallized intelligence are always in a fluid state. Sorry, the crystallized are experienced through or gathered through arithmetic facts, knowledge, meaning, words and state spatial activities. So, these are factual knowledge about the world. So, the fluid intelligence are what we call the componential, while the crystallized intelligence are called the contextual. But when you talk about intelligence test and basic abilities, the fluid intelligence on test is measured by the ability to assemble novel puzzles, ability to determine the next entry in a series of numbers. Say for examples, if I say that there is a series of there is a task called series completion. There are numbers like 1, 3, 5, what will come next? So, this is how we determine one's numerical abilities. So, and there are also tests like this is called series completion, there is called odd man out, there is a series of objects among which one does not match with the rest of the group, where we try to find out whether the person has developed the ability to differentiate among objects. This depicts, this figure shows the developmental status of one's fluid and crystallized intelligence, starting from infancy to childhood, early childhood, middlehood and then late middlehood. So, it shows that how fluid intelligence declines with age. 3 stratum theory of intelligence, this was given by John Carroll. This shows that how different abilities are extracted from the concept of general intelligence. So, Carroll's hierarchical theory in fact is essentially a compromise between general and distinct abilities that view intelligence as a whole, but some critics still find it unsatisfactory because it ignores the research theory on cognitive development. However, the broader theories of intelligence have later been conceptualized by many other psychologists, such as Howard Gardner, who gives a very extensive theory of the concept of human intelligence, proposing multiple theory of intelligence, where he first tries to highlight three important intelligence or intelligent domains in terms of psychometric principles: linguistic intelligence, logical mathematical intelligence, and spatial intelligence. So, what are these three? What do these intelligence examine? The first one is, say for examples like linguistics intelligence. This refers to the sensitivity to the meaning, sound of the word, the mastery of syntax, appreciations of the way language can be used. Like when, say for example, somebody is very poor in mathematics, but very good in composing songs. Somebody cannot compose song, but he can very coherently, meaningfully, melodiously can sing a song that could impress thousands of people. So, that is where it comes into important play as a marker of intelligence, because that sensitize people with meaning, that the sounds of the words are so coherent that appeals to the mass of people, and the syntax are mastered in such a way they are well phrased, well pronounced, and the appreciation of the language is effective when it reaches, when it appeals, when it attracts thousands of audiences. So, that shows the power of linguistic intelligence. In terms of logical mathematical ability, it refers to one's understanding of objects, symbols of actions that can be performed on them, and of the relations between these actions. It also refers to the ability to identify problems and seek explanations. Say for like there is a mathematical formula, and say for 1 plus 1, what could be the answer, or why 2 into 3 equal to 6, why. So, this kind of understanding is nothing but the reflection of logical mathematical ability. It also shows that spatial ability is also one sign of intelligence, because it is the capacity to perceive and visualize the world accurately, to perform transformations upon perceptions, and to recreate aspects of visual experiences in the absence of physical stimuli. Say for examples, how do we know that this is pen or that is pencil? This is very simple examples. What constitutes to call you as a girl and to call him as a boy? So, instead of objects, events, how do we perceive them as a whole? What is their special figural relationship? Why we call this is a chair and that is a table? So, what is so while perceiving an object as a whole, we look into all these aspects, different aspects of the object into consideration and perceive as a whole. How do we perceive that this is a triangle? How do we perceive that this is an rectangle? The perception of this figure as a whole, as a rectangle, is nothing but sign of one's spatial relations. Well, then Gardner go further, explaining the other abilities like musical abilities. One can compose very well, one can synthesize a song to be sung in a particular way. Bodily kinesthetic intelligence, this is also equally important. It refers to the use of body in highly skilled ways for expressive or goal directed purposes, and capacity to handle objects skillfully. So, that is how people excel in sports and games. Say for example, how a person cross a 100-meter hurdles within few seconds, while another person does the same by few minutes. Okay, we will take it further after short break. Thank you.